Good evening, everybody. You're very welcome along to the fourth round of the Team Hard iRacing TCR League, coming to you live from the Oulton Park Island circuit here in Little Budworth in the UK. So we are about halfway through this championship, and Avax have just picked up the broadcast right here. So it's great to see a new championship with us as well. Marco Babanero working hard on the cameras. Dane Baird alongside me. Dane, a great circuit, Oulton Park. Perhaps not our favourite layout, but nonetheless, I think it should prove some good racing.
Yeah, definitely. I really love this circuit. It's probably one of my favourite UK circuits on the service. And yeah, like you said, it's a good, not the worst layout, but it also skips the chicane, the first chicane, which is probably my favourite chicane on any racetrack in the world. About 7 minutes into qualifying, a couple minutes left, and looking pretty close in our field.
Yeah, so David Baker currently sitting on provisional pole position as he runs up to the back of the circuit right here. So a very up and down circuit is Oulton Park, and it should prove some good racing, especially in the TCR cars. So we're now looking at car coming through turn number 1 right there, and then heading downhill. It drops away from you. It's a very high speed part of the circuit as well, dropping down into the Cascade section, and then we don't get quite the full layout of the circuit where it goes around to the back with that cambered right hander. It's almost like an oval. We do cut off just at the halfway up this straight right here with a very, very tight hairpin right. And Dane, that should prove to be a little bit messy on that one, I'd wager.
Yeah, definitely. It's got cold tires, all drivers, so it's gonna not have too much grip, and it's a pretty hard braking zone after the fast left hand of the Cascade section. So it's gonna be pretty interesting to see how they all fare through there in the first lap.
Yeah, so there's Kieran Harrison popping into pole position at 126.36, just ahead of Baker by 0.05 of a second right there. Very, very close indeed. And then Hadfield and then Niall Quinn, third place, with just 1,000th of a second separating himself from Brandon behind. That's very, very close. And there is Brandon right there, on board with them now as he goes to the back towards the last corner right here. Very tricky to get the braking right here, getting it onto the curb. Up and over the hill, trying to get the power down the front wheel drive as well. Not going to be the easiest thing in the world. Then tight the barrier on the left hand side, then across the line to complete his lap. Does he improve on where his position is? No, he doesn't. 126.665 and is not going to be able to go better. And there it is, Baker with the fastest lap, 126.343, 100th of a second ahead of Harrison, and it's a very close field. Lee pops into 4th place, again 1,000th of a second ahead of Niall Quinn. There's 2,000ths of a second between 4th, 5th, and 6th. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's really fantastically close qualifying laps from these drivers. It's going to be hopefully give us some good racing for the next few rounds of the season. As we see Marshall setting his lap time, and it doesn't look like he improved there. We've got some drivers here coming around to finish their last few laps. Only about 10 seconds left of this qualifying session, but that final corner, as you were saying, up and over the hill, it's very difficult to see where the exit curb is, especially as you come over the crest. You got to really try and guess and do a lot of laps of practice to really know where it is, and it's going to prove to be difficult for the drivers. Qualifying is finished.
Yeah, indeed. So a very tight qualifying right there, which just meant that we have got an interesting race lined up with 2 races, of course, 15 minutes for race 1 and then another 15-minute race 2, which will have the reversed grid order. So here we go. This is the qualifying results. David Baker takes pole position by 100th of a second over Kieran Harrison, and Adam Hadfield 400th of a second back. So it's half a 10th separating the top 3. Then Daniel Lee ahead of Niall Quinn by 1,000th of a second, and then Johnny Brandon just behind him by 1,000th of a second. Then Norbert Leitner in 7th, Luke Eade in 8th, Jordan Kelly in 9th, Brian McManus 10th, Jack Ayer in 11th, Peter Butcher 12th, Michael Weddle 13th, Daniel Handover in 14th, Daniel McDonald 15th, Carl Robinson 16th. Then it's Adam McNally in 17th place, and Gordon Anderson in 18th place. Further down the order, then we have Ronald Grossman in 19th, Dave Marshall in 20th place, Alex Robinson, Andy Thompson, Russell Carroll, Stephen Walker, then Adam State, Daniel Perry, and Connor Ryan with no time set in qualifying. He'll be starting right down the back, which is not really an ideal. So here we go for Heat 1 very shortly. Just counting down, 2 minutes to go till we have, I was nearly 40 seconds till we have lights out. So turn 1, extremely tight, Dane. Going to be tricky to get a very wide TCR car through there.
Yeah, especially if they try and go side by side as we head to the lights. It's going to be a very narrow on exit. You can run a bit wide there, but we'll see how they get in.
Away if we go from the line from Heat Race 1, 16 minutes of racing as Dave Baker gets a very, very good start with Harrison up the inside already, trying to look up the inside into turn number 1. Can he get it stopped on the brakes? Just about looks up the inside. Can he take the lead as they run down towards Cascades for the first time of asking? Looks like Baker's going to hold on for now. Harrison in second, Hadfield third, Brandon fourth, Niall Quinn holds on to 5th place as they've run down through Cascades through the left-hander. A couple of cars going side by side down there, looking from the gearbox of Baker as he tries to, again, behind Hadfield, looking on the outside of Harrison as they run down towards the hairpin. Is going to be able to get it stopped, and not quite. And then I think that's Brandon up the inside of that hairpin. Prime overtaking opportunity. Can he get the power down to take away that place? Not quite. He has to hold it on the outside line, but otherwise it looks all clean through there.
Yeah, surprisingly clean race from our drivers today. We've had no one off the circuit, no real contact there. We had some bit of door banging, but this track is very narrow and these cars are very wide, so that's to be expected. And they all make their way through the first chicane, which is actually the second chicane, but it seems to be very clean racing, and Baker's managed to hold his lead, and he's got a bit of a gap brewing.
Yes, he does indeed. So now we're looking at Eads just having to hold off Jack Eyre behind him. They've run through towards the last corner now, so 11 laps or 16 minutes of racing, whichever comes first. And now he's having to defend front. That's a very ominous sight of a TCR car trying to almost punt his way past. They do make contact right there as they run through the last corner, but he just manages to hold on right there as they come across the line to start lap number 2. It is Baker from Harrison and Hadfield, your top 3, and looks like Baker has got himself a nice gap already. Bit of a problem there for State as he drops back. Probably a poor exit out of that last corner right there. Not ideal for him, but it is now Jack Eyre having to battle between his teammate right there. It looks like it goes around the outside. That's Butcher going through, and there's Brian McManus in the VRA car right behind as well. So look at these two going right at it immediately in this race, having to back off there through the chicane. It's going to go very late on the brakes. Almost has to get into the back of him right there, though. They managed to keep it together, and that might open the door for Brian. Michael Weddle in 12th place, Jordan Kelly 13th behind, Adam McNally 14th, and it's still Baker, your leader. Hadfield 3rd, Brandon 4th, and Niall Quinn 5th. Everything looking all nice and dandy for those guys.
Just having a look at a replay here of Andy Thompson, but I seem to have lost him. And can you guys see him?
Nope, we're not able to see what's happened there, unfortunately. But I assume it was an off track for Andy Thompson, or a problem for him. But David Baker, your leader, looking very comfortable out there in the lead of this race, with him being chased down by Kieran Harrison in 2nd place. Adam Hadfield in 3rd, and he's lighting up the timing screens. But it is Daniel Lee, 126.9, fastest lap of the race for him in 7th place right here. He's getting chased down behind, and he's trying to chase after Leitner up ahead of him in 6th place. But a nice train forming for this lead, which could prove very nice for us later on in the race, and probably for race 10. And don't forget that the second race is a reverse grid race, which would mean that the top 15 get reversed. So whoever finishes in 15th place will get the pole position for the feature race afterwards. So that could be important as well. So the battle for 15th is also very important. But of course, you do want the points for the win in the heat race, and every point counts in this championship battle, which is raging on.
Yeah, the championship battle is looking pretty good there, as we can see all the cars bunched up close. No one's really dropped back too much, except for the driver in 27th position. It looked like he had a bit of an off earlier on in the race. And some beautiful looking liveries here. Of course, there is actually a prize for the best Team Hard inspired livery in this series. It's a mystery prize provided by a sponsor of the league. And these drivers are going to be looking to get all the prizes that they can at the end of the season. I think that the number 3 car just behind McDonald in 16th place, that's Handover, he looks like he might be good for that one because his livery is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I was just noticed a problem for Jordan Kelly down in 16th place. He just lost 2 positions as a result of a poor exit right there. As we look back here to see what has transpired. This is Jordan Kelly that we're on board with as he runs to the last corner, nips the apex fine there, but just runs out wide on the exit day, and that's so easy to do, just about keeps it out of the wall. But that just shows you the elevation change in the front wheel drive cars. It really does not like it when you get on the power.
Yeah, especially not mid corner as well. Obviously, those tires trying to keep the car moving in a straight line, trying to put the power down. As we see a big smash here at the
Oh.
hairpin. There looks like 3 cars involved there. So we're going to get a good look at the new tire model as well. We'll have a replay to see what happened here. Just like 3 of the back markers in this race, Adam State looks like he's. Oh, it looks like someone's just gone too deep on the brakes and has collected a couple of cars involved in that. And he still seems to be sitting on the track.
Yeah, so that was Connor Ryan knocking himself out of contention, or getting knocked out of contention, should I say. So he's fortunately now dropped all the way down to the back. Even if he is still running, it's not gonna help him. But it's still Baker, your leader. Harrison second. Hadfield third. We ride on board with Air as he chases after Mike Weddle in 11th place. So these could be crucial positions for the reverse grid. So currently the reverse grid pole at the moment would go to Handover in 15th place. But we now ride on board with Air as you get an idea of the elevation changes around this Oulton Park circuit. It's a very high-speed circuit as well. Look at the speed, 180 k's up to 190, just touching 200 as they come onto the brakes for the hairpin. A bit wide from Mike Weddle there as he tries to get back on the power. That just gives him a little bit touch of a better exit. And just looking on the back of that car as well, it looks like somebody's already been into the back of him as we go through in these TCR cars. But they continue on, and we reach the halfway point of this race.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of damage on the rear of his car, but these cars are pretty much built like tanks, to be honest. They can take quite a lot of a hit before they really start to show any signs of damage. But you see while he was going through the hairpin in 3rd gear, trying to keep the wheel spin down to a minimum, trying to use all the torque that the car can provide as they come around the final corner here. They look to get a good exit to try and maybe make a run on Harrison. See here the battle for 2nd position with Baker just in the front of your screen. And he also sets a purple lap, the Slapper 126.3.
Yeah, so it looks like Kieran Harrison is under a lot of pressure from Adam Hadfield behind him as Dave Baker starts to open out that gap up front. Then Brandon behind. Niall Quinn just not quite able to keep tabs right there. But again, these guys battling could bring him right back into the fight here. Just seeing Hadfield having a little look on Kieran Harrison up towards the hairpin. He thinks about it, and just behind him, Brandon very late on the brakes. They just touch going through right there. And these cars are nose to tail as we ride on board with Brandon right here. He looks to the inside, shows himself in the mirrors. Classic race driver move right there, trying to put his rival off as they run into the chicane down here with the tire barrier right on the inside. So late on the brakes from Brandon right there through the left-hander. Then back uphill we go towards the last section. Clipping the apex on the inside, running out to the curb on the left-hand side. Then up and over the hill, almost into a blind corner right here. This blind, long left-hand curve into the right-hander, which you've got a nip on the right-hand side. It's almost a double apex right-hander right here as they try and get it together towards the last corner where we've seen Jordan Kelly make a mistake. Then down towards the last corner. Let's see how he's going to get on. Can he get the run that he needs out of the last corner? Getting deep on the brakes. Getting on the power as quick as he can. But he's going to have to wait for his opportunity, Dane.
Yeah, not looking like a move is on this time by. Also looks like Brandon is very close to the back of these two now. They battled as he goes a little bit wide. Shouldn't make too much of a difference. There's a bit of extra curbing on the outside that you can run over. But into the chicane later on in the lap, he looks like he's much more confident on the brakes, does Brandon. And the track limits there are really only just those tire stacks. You can run as close to them as you want and you're not going to get an off track for it. So it's really down to driver confidence to try and get the best line through there, as we see a little bit of a battle brewing here. What looks like for 11th position with Air in front and Weddle and McNally going at it behind them. This is going to be an interesting one as well.
Yeah, so it's just looking at Daniel Handover in 15th place, reverse grid pole, he'll be in. Then McDonald ahead of him, Adam McNally, Mike Weddle, and then Jack Eyre just a little bit up the road as these guys fight it out for the tail end. Jordan Kelly trying to recover after his off earlier. He's just in the background, a shot right there as they run up through the hill. And just a mistake from one of the drivers up there. Looks like a mistake from either Mike Weddle as he comes up the hill right here. This is going to get a little bit messy as Jack Eyre tries to get himself involved as well. Jack Eyre trying to get past Mike Weddle now as they run up the hill into the left-hander, up the inside. Can he get it through right there? Looks like there might be contact. They've managed to sort it out though, and that's going to be a position gained for Mike Weddle and Adam McNally as Jack Eyre falls down to 14th place now as they try to figure things out. They're almost 3 abreast into the last quarter. How did they not make contact through there? It's so tricky to try and get through there. Up onto the grass was one of the cars behind. But right now, they seem to have sorted it all out and get through without too much contact.
Yeah, a bit of door bang there. They're side by side once again into the first corner. It all looks very clean racing here. Just some door banging, which is you get used to in these TCR cars. They're built for it. Bit loose is Weddle, but this has allowed Kelly in 16th position to try and maybe get that pole for the second round. There's only a couple of laps of this race left to go, and all this battling has allowed him. He looks like he's trying to go around the outside, but it's not going to work for him this lap. And
Yeah.
this battle is heating up.
Yeah, Adam McNally's having a little look around the outside of Mike Weddle into that hairpin. Didn't quite pay off for him as it comes to the chicane. Now they are running out of laps, so they've got to sort it out quickly. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars in this train for the tail end, just outside the top 10 even. There's not even a battle for the top 10. It's the battle for 11th place right here. As we look at McDonald, it's chasing after Adam McNally and Mike Weddle. Adam McNally looking like he really wants to get past these two up here as Adam McNally right on the tail of Mike Weddle right here. And we talked about it earlier. There's already damage on the boot lid. Could be more coming if things get a little bit heated here. Into the last corner they come to start. Lap 10 of 11, 2 laps to go. And we are coming towards the end. 3 laps to go, excuse me, as we come across it. But out front, it is still Dave Baker with a 1.2 second lead over rival behind. So he's got a nice comfortable lead right here as McDonald is trying to get the cutback on Handover as they come down towards the Cascades. Once again, he's looking on the outside line. Is he going to be able to get a go around the outside? It's very tricky to do that here, so he backs off for now and thinking about his opportunity into the hairpin, trying to get the run out on Handover right here. Can he get it stopped on the hairpin? The number 13 on the car up ahead. Is he going to be able to get a cheeky look up the inside with Handover's covering that? He's late on the brakes, and on the outside is that, I couldn't quite see who that was. That looks like Jack Eyre trying around the outside as well. Almost managed to make it work, but not quite. But that has allowed Jordan Kelly to latch himself on.
Yeah,
so here we go.
McDonald's there towards the chicane, and he's made a mistake. Maybe some contact there as well, but he's going to have to take the shortcut, and he's going to get a slowdown for that as well, and that's so unfortunate. He's going to fall outside of the top 15. You can see they're slowing down to serve that penalty, and that's gifted Kelly 14th position. Ayres dropped back to 15th. It looks like some contact there maybe, but it slowed them both down, and Kelly has managed to get himself 2 free positions there.
Yeah, so Dave Baker opening the gap to 1.6 seconds now, 1:26.2 personal best lap from him as he tries to pull away from Kieran Harrison behind. And he is doing that by a margin of just a couple of tenths of lap, and he managed to take nearly half a second out of him right there. So there's 2 laps left to run, and then we go to our reverse grid race, of course. So still plenty to come. Head through the hairpin. Nothing doing for any of these guys now. Oh, there's contact behind between McNally and Weddle. That looks like way off into the grass. He manages to keep it out of the barrier right there. But there was certainly contact and rejoins. Manages to keep himself out of the way, but that just look, and that's just what ended it. Off into the grass, Mike Weddle, and that's ended his chances of getting a good position on the feature race, because if you finish 16th, you are starting 16th in the feature. So unfortunate for Mike Weddle right there. If he can get himself past Robinson for a reverse grid pole here, if he could recover something out of this, it would be ideal for him. So he is chasing after Robinson right here, but he's only got a lap to make it work as the white flag for the final lap in this race. And it is still Dave Baker, your leader, ahead of Kieran Harrison and Adam Hadfield in third place. Adam Hadfield runs off the road in the background. Johnny Brandon in fourth. And then now Niall Quinn has dropped to sixth. He's been overtaken just behind there. But Johnny Brandon not quite able to keep tabs with the two guys up here. But Dave Baker looks set to secure a heat race win. Here is Norbert Leitner in fifth. Back to Dave Baker. The gap came down to 1.3 seconds this time. So he's been working hard. Has Harrison behind. But he's just going to run out of time for this one. So in through the chicane for the last time in the heat race. Through the tyre bales, avoiding the tyre bales. Up the hill they'll come. I'm just seeing the little trails of oil there on the left-hand side. The tarmac right here. So Dave Baker just holding on for now through the right-hander at the top of the hill into the double apex. Just got one more corner to negotiate now, and he will secure a heat race win. Down towards the last corner. Dave Baker looking completely untroubled out front as he comes to the last corner, gets it turned in, no mistakes whatsoever. A dominant display from David Baker secures him the heat race win in round 4 of this Team Hard Racing League. Great job from Dave Baker. It's Kieran Harrison in second place, and Adam Hadfield will finish third with Johnny Brandon in fourth place. Daniel Handover in 12th. Brian McManus will finish 10th. Adam McNally in 11th place. Jordan Kelly 13th. And Grossman 14th. But it looks like Mike Weddle has just he almost managed to get that reverse grid pole. But it's Carl Robinson who's going to be on that reverse grid pole for this next race. And Mike Weddle, after the contact, will start in 16th place. So Dave Baker completely untroubled out front, and that's exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, definitely a fantastic performance from him. Led every single minute or second of that race, and a really dominant performance. He's going to be starting down in 15th place, and it should be interesting. It was pretty quick in the first heat. Hopefully it'll give us some overtaking action in the second one. Looking further down at the field, we've got quite a lot of drivers out of place as they come into the reverse grid for the top 15 second heat, and should be very interesting to see how they shuffle their way around in the first few laps and throughout the rest of the second heat race as well.
Yeah, so we're going to have a quick 3-minute warm-up before we get into this feature race, which will be 11 laps with, again, like we said, the top 15 inverted from the finishing position in the first heat. Championship points on offer for both races. I'll update you on the current standings as well in the championship shortly, but it is going to be an interesting one nonetheless. There is your confirmation of result then. David Baker wins the opening heat. Kieran Harrison in second. Adam Hadfield finishes in third place. Johnny Brandon fourth. Norbert Leitner in fifth place. Niall Quinn finishes sixth. Daniel Lee in seventh. Luke Eade in eighth. Peter Butcher in ninth. Brian McManus inside the top 10. Adam McNally in 11th. Daniel Handover 12th. Jordan Kelly in 13th place. Ronald Grossman in 14th. And Carl Robinson 15th. A reverse grid pole for him. Mike Weddle 16th. Jack Eyre in 17th. And Daniel McDonald finishes in 18th place. Then Dave Marshall, Daniel Perry, Adam Stay, Gordon Anderson, Russell Carroll, Stephen Walker, Andy Thompson, Alex Robinson, and then Connor Ryan, 27th place, 4 laps down on the leaders. Of course, we saw him in the wall in the hairpin, so a lot of drivers suffering from issues this time. It's unfortunate for them. So we have a 3-minute warm-up to come now, and just to keep you updated on the championship standings as we came into this round, it's Kieran Harrison leading the championship over Dave Baker. So is Dave Baker getting points on Kieran Harrison that time. Norbert Leitner in third in the championship. Then it's Adam Hadfield in fourth. And Niall Quinn fifth. Luke Eade sixth. Brian McManus seventh. Johnny Brandon eighth. Peter Butcher and Michael Weddle are your top 10 in the championship. So crucial points gained from Dave Baker that time. And a gap of 13 points going in. Harrison having a 13-point lead. But now, Dane, they've got to fight through from 14th and 15th on the grid respectively, and we saw how it can get a little bit chaotic in the back.
Yeah, it definitely can be chaotic. I think it's going to be very important for David Baker to get past Kieran Harrison at the start of the race. Track position here, it's a very narrow circuit and very wide cars. Track position is very useful, especially when you're fighting for a championship, as these two drivers are. You're also going to get They're also going to get a point for the qualifier, the first qualifier. So that's going to be David Baker getting an extra point in that one, and also for the fastest lap of the race, you're going to get another point as well towards your championship contention. So looking pretty interesting for Baker. He's doing pretty well to try and catch up that gap for the top of the standings.
Yeah, so here is Russell Cowell coming through the last corner, that looks like. Coming up the hill to will be his last lap as he comes across the line. So warm-up is over, and we'll be grilling up for what are usually the most exciting TCR races, the reverse grids, with the top 15 being in reverse order. And it always provides for some brilliant action with drivers who finished at the top of the field in Heat 1 have got to recover and try and get themselves up to the front again. And it's always proven to be really, really tricky for some of these drivers. So we know that it's Carl Robinson on reverse grid pole for this one. Ronald Grossman in second, Jordan Kelly in third, then Daniel Handover will start in fourth, Adam McNally, Brian McManus, Peter Butcher, Luke E, Daniel Lee, Kyle Quinn will start in 10th, then Norbert Leitner, and then Johnny Brookfield, Kieran Harrison, David Baker then in 15th. Mike Weddle, after his contact, will start in 16th place. Then Jack Ayres, 17th. Daniel McDonald, Dave Marshall, and Daniel Perry are your top 20. Then Adam Stagg, Gordon Anderson, Russell Cowell, Stephen Walker, Andy Thompson, and Alex Robinson in 26th on the. So Kyle Robinson, he's got a job to do from pole position because he's got some very quick guys behind him. I would keep my eye on a fast-starting Jordan Kelly from third place, and as well, Brian McManus in sixth place. So we're about to get underway then for the feature race in the Team Hard Racing League. And we're away for the feature race. Good start, Carl Robinson and Robert Grossman with a poor start. And through goes Jordan Kelly straight into second place from the second row of the grid. And looking around the outside, looks like Daniel Handover's having to think about going around the outside right there. So a nice job from Jordan Kelly, slots him into second place right here. So it is still Carl Robinson who leads with a nice gap. Jordan Kelly, then it is Adam in third place. And Robert Grossman falls to fourth. Then it's Handover, Lee, McManus. And looks like two cars off in the background right there. Not quite sure who they were, but big hard contact into the gravel trap right there. Two cars off, and it looks like Adam Hadfield, who's been off the road right there. That's not great for him. Into the hairpin, there's a little bit more contact, and the car gets spun around right there. That looks like Lee, who got spun around right there. Not quite sure who it was right there. It is. And it looks like Norbert Leitner as well involved in that one. So Norbert Leitner fighting for the championship. That's not good for him. But it's Carl Robinson, Jordan Kelly, and Adam McNally after lap 1.
Yeah, that was a pretty chaotic start. I just want to mention it was Peter Butcher at the start of the race that was the driver right off into the gravel trap at turn 2. But a really dreadful start for him. Right from the line, he lost 7 places just out of turn number 1. And a really awful start for him. And then now he's back down into 25th position after that contact. You can see that front of that Audi not looking very good at all. Also, Baker's got himself up into 9th position after all the chaos at the start of the race. So he's looking good for some points today. And we've also got Grossman here. Got Kelly as well, like you said. Pretty good start up into second. He's having a bit of a battle with McNally. They go side by side in towards turn number 2. Got Kelly on the inside. And he manages to hold off McNally for now. He's going to probably look towards the outside for a move in the hairpin.
Oh, Jordan Kelly has a look for the lead up the inside. There's contact. Round goes Adam McNally will now take his judgment from the braking from Jordan Kelly, and he punts Carl Robinson around at the hairpin. Just unfortunate from him right there. He just went too late on the brakes trying to defend from Adam McNally, and that is it. That is how quickly it can go wrong. Just a look at it again, right on board with Jordan Kelly. Look how late he goes on the brakes here. Looks up the inside. He finds the space. Just can't get it stopped. Touches the grass, and it sends him round into Carl Robinson. It's so unfortunate. I don't think Jordan certainly didn't mean that. And a touch of the grass, and Carl Robinson's race is unfortunately over.
Yeah, I think Jordan Kelly just maybe caught out just a little bit, maybe trying to hold off McNally next to him. As we can see the view from McNally's car, he did pretty well to avoid this, but he just touched the grass on the inside there, and that's what sent him into the leader. And McNally's going to say thank you very much and take the lead of the race. He's got a couple car lengths to gap behind to Handover, as well as about 3/10 in that one. It's going to be an interesting battle for the lead. We've got Luke I'd here as well, so some pretty good battles here. I'd going to have a look at Grossman. He's not going to get him this time, but I might have a look as he's almost side by side for the lead of the race. Handover looking at McNally into the hairpin where we just saw that contact, and a bit more contact, just a little bit of a punt, and we
Round
see
goes down. That's Ronald Grossman, excuse me, and there's a 3-car pileup in there as well.
Oh, and there's
One
all
was,
the
but it's
cars
Ronald
involved there.
Grossman and 3 other cars around at the hairpin. Yeah, so that's Dave Baker. Dave Baker, that is big for the championship. He has been sent around at the hairpin. So we'll just have a look and see. Ronald Grossman loses it, and there's just constant. And Dave Baker just drives into the spinning car right there and gets punted around a number of times. His car is just completely blind coming into the hairpin right there. But Dave Baker caught up in an instant at the start of this race, and that is going to be big because he is involved in the championship as well. Not quite sure Kieran Harrison was involved in that one, but he is not on our screens here either. So bit of a problem as well from Mike Weddle off the road right there as well. So there's so much going on as he tries to hold on to the car. He's trying to get back on the track, but the front wheel drive is just not as well. And Mike Weddle's days goes from bad to worse as he tries to keep it together, manages to keep it in the straight line. But Mike Weddle has had 2 torrid races now.
Yeah, it's like he's going to go down into pit road. It's not been his day today. He did actually pretty well to keep it out of the wall there. He was just rubbing up against the left-hand side, but if he didn't get back onto the track when he did, he was definitely ending up in that outside wall, as it's a late move for the lead for Handover. A cut back there on McNally, and that's a fantastic move. They go side by side down the back straight towards the chicane. This is not where you want to be going side by side with the tire stacks on each apex, and it looks like Handover's made the move well, holding back McNally as they go very close, almost touching. You can see this fantastic camera angle here just to see just how close McNally is behind him now. And that incident earlier on in the race has given them a 3.5 second to the cars behind, so they're on their own for the battle for the lead. If they can just keep it clean, they've got a 1-2 finish here for sure.
Yeah, so McNally very late on the brakes. It was a great move from Daniel Handor with the textbook cut back out of the hairpin. So now Adam McNally's got to try and find his way through. So Niall Quinn has now moved into 3rd place as a result of all of our championship contenders have had a problem, and that looks like Johnny Brandon, Jack Eyre, and that Jordan Kelly has managed to get himself back into 5th. So through the right-hander they come. And that is Alex Robinson right behind Perry as they run down to the last corner. He holds the inside. That's a big move from up the inside right there. Is he going to be able to get it stopped? And Perry goes up the inside with a lovely move on Cowell right there. And Robinson place on that one as well. That was very, very stuff from him there. And he manages to hold on. And just in the back, and it's Norbert Leitner gaining a place as well behind. So now he's trying to recover the lost ground that happened to him earlier. Johnny Brandon has taken 5th place. So Jordan Kelly's off the road for the 2nd time into the grass on the exit of Cascades. Brian McManus goes through. Adam State goes through, and he's going to get himself caught up in this big fight as well with Alex Robinson and Carroll and Norbert Leitner. And there's going to be more contact into the back. I'm not quite sure who that was, but he gets sent around, and that looked like Perry went into the back of him right there, into the hairpin, and it's just been Jordan Kelly today. He's been involved in now. In towards the hairpin. This is Daniel Perry. We're on board with Jordan Kelly on the inside. He goes late on the brakes, touches the grass again, locks up the rears, and into Jordan Kelly. Jordan Kelly, an innocent party, but it's exactly what happened between himself and Carl Robinson earlier. An exact to the action. Russell Cowell on the back of Alex Robinson. Also got Lee behind him as well. So cars to deal with. And Norbert Leitner as well in this one, as he tries to get himself into the top 10. It's still Daniel Handover, your leader, from Adam McNally and Niall Quinn, who's setting identical lap times up front. 5th. Jack Eyre in 6th. Then Brian McManus in 7th. Adam State, then Alex Robinson. Norbert Leitner takes 10th away from Russell Cowell right there with a move up the inside. But let's see if Russell Cowell can come back at him here, down into Cascades. It's not really an overtaking opportunity, but through the left-hander he comes. And a bit wide from Russell Cowell that time. And Johnny Brandon has taken 4th place now ahead of Dave Marshall. But Marshall has got a better exit on the exit of the hairpin. He's going to be able to get the power down. Not quite. So Johnny Brandon's going to hold on and down towards the chicane. He's going to hold on and take 4th place away. So he's on a good drive here as Johnny Brandon. And Dave Marshall is not doing too bad either. He's up 14 places from where he started on this grid, so he's done a really good job to get him. But Johnny Brandon takes 4th place. Dave Marshall 5th. Then it's Jack Eyre, Brian McManus, Adam State, Alex Robinson, and Norbert Leitner. With Dave Baker trying to get himself back in the top 10. He was involved in an incident earlier, so Dave Baker, the 2nd place man of the championship, is in 12th place and trying to recover. But down the hill he comes, Dave Baker, and he's been chased very hard as he comes through the last corner. As Baker trying to get past Russell Cowell up ahead as well for a left. As I think about it, on the inside of turn number 1 up ahead, you can also see Norbert Leitner's gained a place as well, and Alex Robinson 1. So Dave Baker has to hold behind for now. But he's got Lee behind, who's got a good exit out of the first corner. He's going to be threatening into Cascades. And a little look on the inside from Dave Baker. Just Russell Cowell a touch wide on the exit of Cascades, down towards the hairpin. He's on the outside line. Is he going to be able to get it around the outside? It's very tricky to do it around the outside here. He goes very late on the brakes, and Dave Baker sweep around the outside. It's so tricky to make that work. Daniel Lee, he's trying to follow in the background, but a great move from Dave Baker around the outside of the hairpin. So trusting on the brakes of Russell Cowell, and he gets through with a lovely move around the outside of the hairpin. Very tricky to do that. Chicane. Daniel Lee now trying to follow Russell Cowell through the hairpin. Then up the hill they come, under the bridge. Norbert Leitner has broken away from these guys. He's got good pace up there as he tries to. He's into 9th place now. Adam State 8th, up 13 places from where he started. But Dave Marshall, currently your biggest mover, in 5th place with 14 places gained. It is Adam State in 8th place, as we said. A lot of positions where he started. Daniel Lee now trying. He's got a lot of cars fighting behind as well. That is Ryan and Thompson fighting it out in the background. He's up the inside. They're going to run out of space on the exit there. There's almost contact as they run up towards turn. But it is Thompson trying to get trying to fend off, but he's up. And Connor Ryan trying to get himself to run off out wide, and that's going to allow Walker outside of both of them, maybe. So Connor Ryan is ahead at this point, but he's got to fend off Walker around the outside. Andy Thompson is still on his inside. How is there not contact right there? Now here comes Anderson on Walker in the background on the outside line of the hairpin. Is he going to be able to get it stopped, go around the outside? It's very tricky. So he's going to be able to fend that off. But now, Jordan Kelly, he's recovering on the inside. Is he going to be able to get the power down? Not quite. So Walker's just about going to hold on for that one. On board with Jordan as he tries to get up the inside of Anderson here through the chicane, trying to avoid those tire barriers. We're on 9 of 11, believe it or not. Adam McNally is on the inside. This is for the lead. Daniel last corner. Adam McNally trying for the lead, right? But Daniel Handover is going to hang it around the outside and hold on as they start lap 10 of 11 with 2 laps left to go in the feature race. There is a lot on the line here, trying to secure a win. Daniel Handover had a decent gap, but Adam McNally has put in some good laps. 2.5 seconds behind these guys is Niall Quinn, by the way, down towards Cascades into the left-hander. So you can see he's just been chipping away at the gap right there. So they've been setting equal lap times almost, but Niall Quinn is just about in the background of shots. These guys continue to fight. He might be in this one too, but Adam McNally having a think about it on the outside line, trying to go around the outside of Daniel Handover into the chicane, into the hairpin, excuse me, now looking for the egg. Is exactly what Daniel Handover did to him earlier, but they managed to fight it out for now. But there's only a lap and a half left to go. Can Adam McNally trying to secure a win in this late stage with Daniel Handover ahead of him? Now we're looking from the gearbox of Daniel Handover into the chicane, trying to avoid the tyre barriers on the left and the right. Now with the exit, Adam McNally trying to find space for this one. Niall Quinn 2.4 seconds back at this stage. You can just about see him in the background of shot here as they run up the hill. The bridge they come. Adam McNally, 0.2 of a second back from Daniel Handover. Is he going to have a think about what he did earlier? Double right-hander into the last corner. It might be his only opportunity because they're so evenly matched. So he's already got to be thinking about his move. Has he got the eggs? I don't think he's quite got it. He's in the slipstream as they run towards the last corner. Has a little think about it. He thinks about it, but they're about to start the last lap. The white flag is going to wave here at Oulton Park. It's a touch wide from Daniel Handover as they come across the line to start the final lap of this race. Daniel Handover is your leader. Adam McNally in second place. He's right there, as you can see, as they come through turn 127.1 for both of these guys. And behind them, even quicker, Niall Quinn, 126.8, but he's going to run out of time. So down towards the hairpin they'll come at Cascades. Adam McNally's thinking about it. He's trying to find a good exit towards the hairpin, looking for the exit. Apex of the corner. Daniel Handover runs a touch wide, but he looks like he's got enough of an exit to keep Adam McNally at bay towards the hairpin. He looks to the outside line, but Daniel Handover's late on the brakes. He's going to hold that carding line. He gets right up underneath them. Does Adam McNally and on the exit, but it looks like Daniel Handover's done enough to keep this one in the bag, but there's still about half a lap to go here as he comes down to the chicane. Right, left chicane with the tyre bales on either side. Daniel Handover has done a great job so far, but Adam McNally is through the right and the left they come, then back to the right hand side again. There's one more opportunity. It might be the last corner where we've seen so many moves before. Up the hill they come. Adam McNally, he's running out of opportunities. The white flag has been waved. It's the final lap. Is he going to be able to make any sort of move here towards the double right hander at the top of the hill? Adam McNally, he has to think about it. Daniel Handover covers it off. Now one more opportunity at the last corner. Adam McNally is wide. I don't think he's done enough here as Daniel Handover comes towards the last corner. I think Adam McNally's tried too hard here towards the last corner in the feature race. Onto the brakes. He's just got to negotiate this one safely. Daniel Handover through the right-hander. He's done enough. Coming towards the line. Daniel Handover wins the feature race here in Team Hard with Adam McNally. He fought hard. Second place. Niall Quinn in third place. Johnny Brandon will finish in fourth. And there's contact in the last corner behind as well. Can McManus try and capitalise on Jack Eyre here as Dave Marshall holds on to Eyre in sixth. Brian McManus finishes in seventh place. Norbert Leitner, has he managed to get up the inside right there? Not quite, but it looks like Connor Ryan's going to get Adam Cowell at the last corner right there. Thompson comes across in 15th, then Walker in 16th, then Butcher, Jordan Cannon 18th after a messy race. But Daniel Handover, how on earth did he hold on to that with such pressure from Adam McNally? It was a fantastic job from him there. And he's done amazing to hold on for this. And a great points gain for him, but especially for Niall Quinn, who's third in the championship. So it's a pretty crazy race. But here, you can see the move that Daniel Handover made for the lead. This was the crucial move. You can just see Adam McNally wide on the exit. And Daniel Handover, he's got his foot planted to the floor now as he tries to get up the inside, and that was the move that secured him this win. Fantastic move from him there. But yeah, not a bad job from Daniel Handover. Adam McNally managed to hold on that time, but he did an identical move later on, which secured him that win. But your feature race results: Daniel Handover wins by 0.4 of a second ahead of Adam McNally. Niall Quinn is third. Johnny Brandon finishes in fourth place, and Dave Marshall has a great fifth place right there. Jack Eyre in sixth. Brian McManus gets a top 10 finish in seventh, and Norbert Leitner in eighth. Adam State in ninth. Alex Robinson finishes in 10th, and Dave Baker is 11th. Daniel Lee 12th. Connor Ryan finishes 13th. Russell Cowell in 14th. Andy Thompson in 15th, and Stephen Walker in 16th. Peter Butcher finishes 17th. A messy race when Jordan Kelly finishes him in 18th place. Gordon Anderson 19th. Daniel Perry in 20th. Daniel McDonald, Ronald Grossman, Kieran Harrison is 23rd in this field, and Mike Weddle in 24th after his contact with the barrier. Then Luke Eade, Carl Robinson, unfortunately a non-finisher after his contact with Jordan Kelly, and Adam Hadfield is, I would assume, is a non-finisher, but your championship leader, 23rd. Dave Baker in 11th, and a big points game for Niall Quinn for sure. But Dane, what a race that we had just there.
Yeah, that was a fantastic race. Really exciting. Near the end, you had about 3 or 4 battles for position as they came across the line. And it's a fantastic result for Baker. He's going to catch up a lot of points to Harrison. Obviously, Harrison finishing in 23rd position. Definitely not the race that he wanted. Also, Michael Weddle, he had a pretty poor event today as well. He's going to be looking for a better time at Snetterton next, or on Thursday.
Yeah, so a quick turnaround of races right here. So we'll be back on very, very shortly for the next round. As I said, it's Snetterton, so a very different circuit to Oulton Park, but it's an all UK round, all UK calendar that we've got coming for you, and we're happy to provide the coverage. But it'd be interesting to see the championship standings after that race, with Kieran Harrison having such a poor run in race 2. Again, he did have a good run in race 1, but Dave Baker as well having a poor run. Norbert Leitner not having a good one either. Adam Hadfield as a non-finisher, and Niall Quinn with a podium. So it's gonna mix up the field, and of course there's a big prize on offer. There's the Team Hard Scholarship, which will get these drivers into a real car. So it's a big prize, and these guys are really fighting hard for this one, to try and get themselves into that car. So we have had our 2 rounds here at Oulton Park, and so now we are heading to Snetterton next time out on next Thursday, the 16th of April. We head to Snetterton at night, I believe. I think we have a night race in Snetterton, and then the final 2 rounds will be held at Brands Hatch, the season finale at Brands Hatch, which is going to be a great one. Brands Hatch always provides some brilliant racing for TCR, but Snetterton is the 200 layout, so the short layout of Snetterton. And so, again, the prize free entry into the 2021 Team Hard Racing Scholarship. The runner-up also gets a half-price entry into that one. And third place gets a nice goodie bag. And as you mentioned earlier, Dane, the mystery prize for the best Team Hard-inspired livery. So there's a lot on offer. And we're glad to be bringing you the coverage here live from Oulton Park. So I think I'm going to ask you, Dane, who do you think is your driver of the race today?
I'm going to give it to Handover. I think he did an absolutely superb job starting pretty well on the grid for the second heat. He did a fantastic job to overtake McNally and get his way up into the first position, and then also did a fantastic job holding him back at the end of the race as well. So I think I'm going to give it to Daniel Handover.
Yeah, I probably have to go with him as well. Just again, it was a really gutsy move up the inside. He managed to make it work. Adam McNally not too far behind either. Put up a great fight in the back. So yeah, so we look forward to next Thursday at the same time, once again, live on Apex Racing TV. Thanks to Dane for joining me. Thanks to Marco for working hard on the cameras as always. And we will see you on the 16th of April for the night race at Snetterton here at the Team Hard Eye Racing League. We hope you enjoyed today's broadcast, and we hope we'll see you next Thursday, the 16th, for the next round of this league. So thank you all. Have a good evening, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.